Alright guys, so this is a demo for your project 2, drawing and solid editing. And you guys will have 3 shapes along with the Nelson clocks to do. The Nelson clock, I'm sure you guys saw the video for that. So we're going to do the shapes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the image of the shape into the screen. And basically what I'm doing here, I'll do it from scratch, is I've opened up my files, right, that you guys should download. And from the Windows browser, you can just literally drag an image and drop it on the Rhino desktop or Rhino workspace. And so I'm going to have to pull it off the window here. Give me a second. So when you drag it in, it's going to give you an option. Do you want a picture, wallpaper, material, environment, texture palette? Please pick picture. So when you go picture, you're going to click and drag and you can see your image. So I did this so that I can see all the dimension. That way I don't have to go flip back and forth. Before I start again, I want to make sure my units are in inches. That way when I type 1, it'll be 1 inch. So scale it up to the side. So I think the best, I'm on the top view right now, which is looking at these top surfaces here. The best thing to do really is to kind of lay out some 2-dimensional lines that you can trace over. For some of you guys who've used SketchUp before, SketchUp's really good at what they call push and pull. That's probably, that's the only thing that they're good at, but unfortunately Rhino doesn't really have that type of tool where you can just draw straight on. So it's kind of best to kind of lay out all your dimensions and your measurements. So right now, this thing is 2 inches long. So I'm going to draw a line, click. I'm going to type 0, enter, which starts here. And I'm going to type 2, enter. So that's 2 inches long. So then I want a straight line. So I'm going to hold down shift and then just click and then enter. So that's my 2 inch long. And then this model, it goes 2 inches, 3/4, and another 3/4. So I can offset my distance at 2. And then click on this side, so that gives me my 2 inch line. I'm going to offset twice 3/4, so I'm going to go back to offset. My distance will be 5 inches. And then maybe one more. Push enter to repeat that last command. So that kind of sets up my the base that I want. Let me see, what other information can I do? There's another 1/2 inch offset from here to here, and another 1/2 inch offset to kind of create this piece. So I'll just create one now. Offset. You just have to remember what all these offsets represents on the model. So I have something like that. So then I'm going to start creating my model here. I think I'm going to do it in chunks and then boolean them together. There's obviously multiple ways of doing them. And so in this particular case, because you guys are just beginning Rhino, I think I'm going to try to keep my model making relatively simple. So I'm going to just go to a cube and then click from here to here. That creates my base, and my base is 1/2 inches tall. So then I'm just going to type 0.5, enter. So that gave me a base that is 1/2 inches tall. So let me do that again. So I'm going to go to my top view. I went to a cube, I click, and my third click, which is the height, I just typed in 0.5. Alright, so that's what happened. Click, and then type in 0.5 for your third value. Over here, I'm going to teach you a slightly different method. So this is a 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch by 1.5 inch tall cube. If you knew the dimensions like we do now, then you can make it a different way. You can go from here, and then you can go 5, 0.75, actually I should have undid that. Never mind. Keep on pushing the wrong keys here. Okay, so I'm going to make it off to the side and then move it. I think that's going to be easier. So I'm going to click here. And then I'm going to type 0.75, and this is going to kind of get messed up, and I'm going to explain to you why. Yeah, actually, I'm going to start somewhere away. So I want to go 0.75 this way, 0.75 that way, and then 1.5 inches tall. So if I type in, for my second point, it should be 0.75 and 0.75, 0.75 inches by 0.75 inches. But you see how it comes all the way down here? That's because it's 0.7. Although I started here and I wanted to go 0.75 this way and 0.75 that way, it's actually going to an absolute value of 0.75, meaning this is 0, 0, 0.75 this way and 0.75 up, and that's not what I want. I want to go relative to this point, and I did that on purpose so that you guys can see how to input absolute versus relative. So you notice that my key value is at, so meaning from here, go 0.75 this way in the x, and then go 0.75 in the y. So if you don't put that, your second point, instead of being here, is going to end up somewhere here. Now it's asking me for my third value, which is 0.5 inches. So then I have a top that kind of looks like that. And at that point, I want to simply move this point to that point, and then I have this piece. I have to make a slot for this piece right here, so I'm going to go to my top view here, and this is probably a 3/4 inch gap, right? And that was 3/4, so I can actually use this to cut that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, move it, make a copy of it, which is to hit Alt real quick until you get that plus sign, and then let it go. And then what I want to do is I want to move it that point to that point there, and then up a little bit, so it's colliding into it. So you'll see what I'm going to do with that piece later. So that's set up, and then now I'm going to do this top piece here, which is really a big old cube that gets pushed to a 1/2 inch. So I will do that. So first I'm going to go ahead and make a big cube, 2 3/4 inch tall. And that cube starts from here to like here, and then the height is 2.75. But you notice that it's 2.75 from the bottom, and in this case, because I snapped up here, that cube is at the top. So no worries, I'm going to go ahead and move that down. From there to, and then now what I want to do is I want to select this guy and push it in so that I get this angle. A couple of things that I want to introduce you to is the Boolean tool in Rhino. So Boolean tool is like math, meaning this piece and that piece should be connected together if you see this model. So you're going to add this piece plus that piece to get a new piece. So you go to Boolean here, Boolean union, and you can click this and that and enter. And now this is all one piece. And you could also Boolean this guy to this guy, right? So again, I'm going to go to Boolean this guy to that guy and enter. And then now that's all one piece. In this case, I want to subtract this guy from here. But one more thing that you guys need to set up, because this surface right in here, this surface, and that surface is on the same plane. So in this case, when you do a Boolean, you might get like a little leftover skin here, and that's not what you want. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this surface and make it a little bit longer than I need. That way when I cut through, it'll be clean. So in order just to pick just this surface, you're going to hold down Control and Shift at the same time. Click on that. You should get your gumball. Grab that tool and just pull it out, just so that it's further out than this surface, right? But that's 3/4 by 3/4, so that should be fine. And then I go hit this little tab here and go Boolean difference, which is minus. It's asking me to subtract from, so which is my main object, this guy. Enter. And then subtract with, I want to subtract with this guy. and I want to delete input, yes. So I want that guy to disappear. Enter. So now I have this shape. So now I just got to pull this edge over. So I'm going to go select that edge, and I want to move it over where I hit this line right in here. So I'm just going to nudge it over, but I could also snap. So let's see what happens if I snap. I believe that was my half-inch line. And then I'm going to come here. No, that was the wrong line. Snap here. And bring it here. Because if I just snap here, it's going to snap to the line that's at the bottom. I don't know if you can see my perspective screen. Well, I'll click it and you'll see what you get. You see, move that line to the bottom because it's actually snapping to that. But what I want to do is I want to move it to the same kind of distance that's on the line on the floor, but to the, I only want to move it sideways from the top. So what you want to do is you want to come and use your multiple views. So come here and you go to move, and you start moving from here, right? And then you come back to the top and you snap to this so that Rhino knows what you want to snap to. And then you come back to the screen, and then it'll create a perpendicular to that line. It'll know, right? So then I know that's half-inch. So there is the demo for that. And now in some models, especially when the model's relatively clean, if you don't want to see these lines because this surface and that surface is on the same plane, you could type merge all faces. Click on that, and then you'll see that you'll get this. So this command will work most of the time if your model's fairly clean and kind of simple, but sometimes it won't know how to recognize it. And also all of these extra ISO lines, don't worry about it. That's just part of Rhino and the way how it makes sense of all of these shapes. So that was kind of a demonstration on how to create one of the shapes and using dimensional accuracy. Go ahead and finish up shape 2 and 3. We'll see you guys in the next video.